Yo, what's good, y'all? Got a little bit of a bump here in the beginning. I'm not sure what happened. I got booted off um, for whatever reason, but I'm here now. Um, if you guys are here, go ahead and say something to me. I thought I had this thing figured out, but I'm learning. Um, and it's showing Jerry Bell's name. That's not good. Yeah, I'm just all messed up today. All right, there we go. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a second. I know some of y'all were already in, and I had to restart because it cut my feed. So apologies there. If you guys are there, go ahead, holla at me. HBCU band talk. I see you, bro. Appreciate you for joining me. Hoping we can get everybody back tuned in. I'm sorry, y'all, for the technical mishap there. Um, yeah, I'm just making sure we all good before I do my whole rundown. And I think we are. And I saw Jerry Bell, our guest, was about to tune in as well. And I'll give him a second to call back. We're not going to be tuning in with Jerry at this moment. We got a few things to talk about. Primarily with we still dealing with some stuff. I need to report on the board situation, and we got some things to talk about there. Go ahead, and if you know some people that's um, tunes into the show that may not be here, go ahead and send them a text or something and tell them to pop on in because we about to get going. What's up, big bro? Jason, man, ain't nothing up, man. We just listen. We got a lot going on, man, and I just want to make sure that we got somebody here to help make sense of all the stuff. And we are basically we're doing kind of a two-parter tonight. I'm going to update everybody regarding some of the latest news on what's happening with the board and what is happening with our buddy Mr. Belvin Perry, who has made some things a little bit tougher for the institution today. But I don't know that he's going to get much for it, but we'll see. Um, let's get to it. Thank y'all for joining me. I am very, very thankful because last week and the week before last week when I started the show, um, again, as you guys can see right here, um, you guys can see this little support the show thing, right? And I just put that there because again, I have like some small overhead things that I want to be able to like take care of with the show. And again, I want to be able to have a great show for you all. And so uh that takes a little bit of um take a little bit of money to do it. And again, I want to grow what we're doing here on the app. So I don't think I can do that by myself. So I like to solicit the help of you all to help build a show. Like I don't feel like the Ave is mine. I feel like it's all of ours. So I hope you guys continue to support and do the things that you guys have been doing. And even so, I'm going to go ahead and let's do this because I'm so appreciative of the people that are like supporting the show. Let me do this. I've designed something called the real MVPs. All right. So I'm gonna just do this every week to the people that are like that really go out of their way to contribute to the show. That's Chantel, Shanique, Kenya, Tundra, Jacqueline, and Derek. I want to make sure that you guys know that I appreciate you. And I know sometimes it's hard to, especially with, the way the school is now, people have been hesitant to contribute anything. So the fact that you gave my show, I don't care if it was $1. I'm thankful for it. So thank you all for doing that. And yeah, lastly, as far as new stuff is concerned, um, we have another thing that we are working on, which is our Golden Honors. And the Golden Honors is basically um, our version of, I don't want to call it like 40 under 40 because it's not 40 under 40. It is um, a recognition program for alumni. And it's not, again, it's not age prohibitive, but like what we want to do is every year is recognize, 20 to 25 alumni, like give you your flowers and make sure that we recognize you for all the good that you do, for your community, for your work, for whatever it is. We want to make sure that people know it's like amazing Wildcats out here doing amazing things. And so that's really important to me, that you guys are recognized for like just all the good that you all do. So that is coming soon. We have our committee that's like, I would say 80, 90% there, in terms of finalizing it. And so that's what we're doing now. And once we get our committee, then we'll start meeting, and the committee will be here to basically just help us design what the program is going to think it should be. But I want to make sure that it's not my thing, that alumni build this, right? So we have a committee. I'm not even on a committee. But they'll be pulling it together, and we'll do our thing. So yeah, that's that. So let's get to a little bit of news. Unfortunately, um we haven't dodged the bullets, right? But the good news is we've got new leadership, and Pete Gamble and Jeff Branch are like really two really good guys who have already, from what I've been hearing, um, they've been already coalescing a lot of support. And so um, let's go ahead and get behind those two as the chair and vice chair, and let's just give them a chance to fix the wrongs, get a president in there, and like restore order back to the institution. I think that's important. And again, I believe in those two guys, but we still have a little bit of a wrinkle right now because our friend, the former chair, um, Belvin Perry. So let me walk you through what's happening now. Um, Belvin Perry, for whatever reason, has filed a complaint with Sachs. It is a complaint against the board, and I think it's like an integrity complaint, and he's making claims of improper business. I don't know what the full complaint is. I've just heard that um this has been sent to Sachs, or they're going to send it to Sachs. This was either last week or the week after, and so I'm not going to tell you what I think about that, but it's not good when I think about it. And again, I just, at this point, I wish he would just remove himself from that, from the board, and go on and do his thing, and allow the people who want to be there and who want to drive the institution forward, and not leave the students to be like the middleman in this whole thing. Like, it's just so frustrating. And this is the second time he's done this. He did this back in, I believe, October. Um, I believe he filed a complaint then. And so what's likely going to happen is Sachs is going to come and they're going to investigate the school again. And like, that's no good. Like, that is unfortunate because it, I don't think they're going to find anything. I mean, I don't know, again, I don't know that there's any specific whatever uh article or whatever that he's citing in wrongdoing, but it feels like sour grapes. It just feels like sour grapes at this point, because the people didn't do, the board didn't vote the way he wanted it to go. And that's unfortunate because we should be, especially now with the way our politics are going, should be teaching our kids, you know, that sometimes the votes don't always go the way you want them to go, and sometimes we have to live with the consequences, as most of us are doing right now with our current administration. And so the fact that because the things haven't quite gone his way, he's choosing to keep the turmoil and just mess kind of going with the board, and that's just so unfortunate. That is like really, really, really unfortunate. But he's not the chair anymore, so his power is limited to just a member of the board. And I'm going to keep kind of putting pressure on him because I just don't like what he did with the kids. I'm never going to be okay with that. And so that that will drive me to make sure I let him know that he should, step away every week. Every time I do this show, I'll be letting Belvin Perry know that I think it's best if he just walk away from the school. Just ride off into the sunset, man. I know you got a lot of money. You was a judge for a long time, did a lot of good stuff on the legal side, but man, leave Bethune alone. All right. Um, and so that's kind of what's happening right now with the institution, and hopefully, Pete Gamble and Jeff Branch are doing their best to kind of put the pieces back together. Again, we're ramping up for another presidential search, so I don't know what that means. I don't know how long it's going to take, but everybody just going to have to put on um, their patience for the next several months, because we are still in the land of uncertainty. Um, and that's pretty much that. Like, that's the news as far as the school. So now we get to talk about something that is also near and dear to us, and it has been, I think, the bane of all of our existence for a long time. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my buddy Jerry Bell. Let me see if I can get you them in. Let's see. Oh, is that it? Oh Lord, y'all. All right, hold up. Hold on a second. Somebody says I'm not live. I'm not live. All right. Yeah, I see comments. All right, y'all give me a second. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here. There he goes.
Hey, here I am.
My
I don't know if
man,
that's a
Mister.
good thing or a bad thing, but here
Yeah.
I am.
No, man, it's a good thing. Thank you for joining us, man. As you can see, I'm trying to get used to this new setup, and I'm trying to do a lot, pressing a bunch of buttons over here by myself, man. So uh, but it's cool. All right, Maddie says I'm live. All right, that's good. All right, we can hear. I think the issue was there's a second feed that was started uh before the first one that I had to shut off. So I don't know if that might be the deal. My man, Jerry Bell.
What's going on, sir?
Not a whole lot, man. I know we've been talking a whole lot about the school stuff, and which is important, right? We can't not talk about that. Um, but our football team and our football program has been going through quite a moment here over the last few years, and I don't really know. Um, you know, I don't know what to say. For the most part, we've been kind of dealing with it for 2 years. But before we get into it, what can you tell us about what you've been hearing on the ground? I know a lot of people have been wondering like what's happening with the team. I know this is a very quiet part of the year, but really this is like how plants and stuff are kind of germinating in the winter to bloom in the spring and the summer. Like so this is like the really important part of the season. So what can you tell us from your insights and having your ears on the ground?
Well, I'll start with this. You initially said we've been in this for 2 years. No, we've been in this pattern for 4 years now.
I
I mean, we've
My
had
bad.
Coach Woody for 2 years,
Yes.
but the last 2 years of the Sims era. So we haven't been good since before COVID. We still dealing with long COVID over here in
Yes.
Daytona. So,
Yes, we are.
but yeah, so it's been 4 years. Right now, it- quiet. I think what we're learning is the way Coach Woody operates is he's an introverted guy. For those of you who
Mm,
know him, he's not going to be the loud person in the room. At any time, he wasn't like that when we were in school together. He doesn't coach that way,
right.
so he's pretty private, and so things have been relatively quiet. I can tell you that Coach Woody did go through an evaluation period
Hmm.
with his coaching staff to determine who stick around, who won't. We see that DJ McCarthy, who was the special teams coordinator, got a promotion, got a job down at FAU. That's a return for him, and so we need a new special teams coordinator. And then the other coaches, no one else was dismissed at the behest of Coach Woody,
Mm.
but there is another sizable change that's coming. Um, I want to give the I want to give Coach the opportunity to talk to all the people who need to talk to first
Oh
and
man, you
announce
spill it,
that.
man.
And so we expect there to be a significant change. But with that, we don't expect there to be hiring from without. So we think that one of the coordinators is on the way out, and that they'll be replaced from within. So there's an idea that you want to keep some continuity there and not have to learn a new system, new schemes, new terminology. So the idea is that we'll promote from within to try to build on some of the momentum that we saw towards the end of last year. Even
Yeah.
though that didn't necessarily equate to wins, there was some positive momentum as far as looking a little bit better and looking more like a team. So
Yeah. I was trying to put a screen up, but I was looking at the schedule, and as bad as last year seemed like from a record standpoint, and we even fell off a game. I mean, we dropped from 3 games to 2 games, which I just didn't think it was possible. I did not think it was possible. But we did it. But there really is like a big silver lining in there that I think if you just take a step back and you look at it, and it was that we had 5 games that we lost by less than 3 points or something like that, and 6 games that we lost by less than 10. And to me, what that tells me is like we easily could have had a 5 or 6 win year this year, maybe even a 7 win if you make a play at the end of a game, if you don't turn the ball over or throw a pick or whatever. And so obviously the game is won, like they say in the trenches, but in the case of Bethune Cookman, it's won in the turnover column. And that was where I think we lost a lot of games this year. So I think being very generous, but I actually thought the team performed was more competitive this year. That's probably a good way to say it.
well, I mean, it depends on which side of the coin how you want to view that, because we were actually having that same conversation last year at this time, because
Was it as
in
many
Coach
games though?
Woody, in Coach Woody's first year, I think they lost 5 games by less than a
Okay.
touchdown. The
Mm,
Jackson State game was a
I
one
remember that.
possession game. The
Yeah.
I mean, it was just you go through it, and so the thing is that at some point you have to learn how to win. And so, if you the positive way of looking at that is you're one possession away. Southern won the SWAC West last year. We went what 5 overtimes with them. So you were that close away from beating the SWAC West leader.
Yeah.
The game, we had the ball. I think it was 5 games last year. It might have been 6 games that we had the ball on offense with an opportunity to win the game on our final possession. Alabama State, we lost to Clark on their last possession. This we had the ball with a chance to win
Yep.
against Texas Southern,
Yep.
against Southern, against FAMU,
Yep.
and so you have the ball with a chance to win. The thing is, you can look at that and say, "Well, we're that close." Well, until you do it,
You did
losing
it. Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
just as contagious, and so we got to find a way to put these games away when we can. And I do think that again, am I optimistic? I'm I'm not pessimistic. That'll be my that'll be this time last year. I was extremely optimistic. Right now, I understand that this could go either way. They could figure it out, and we can be a plus 500 team, or we can be kind of in the same situation next year. It's really going to depend on those guys developing that winning culture and figuring out how to get it done.
Yeah. So again, I took the more generous view of the season. Um, and I actually went. I know sometimes you can go and look on that FBS schedules and kind of see what games have been slated. And I saw a graphic with we've got Miami coming up again. I think I saw South Carolina State.
That's right.
Um, and I forget obviously FAM at the Classic, and it was like two other games that
Well,
I saw.
if you start piecing together that schedule,
Mm-hmm.
then so you get 4 out of conference games. Let's talk in conference first.
Mm-hmm.
So in conference, we get the SWAC East, right? So that's the 2 Alabama schools, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley, FAMU. That's our eastern side. Those are our 5 games.
Yep.
Grambling is our permanent western team. So we play Grambling every year. And then we rotate 2 others from the west. This year, Arkansas Pine Bluff rotates on, which is good for us because that's a program that's in transition.
Mm.
So you like to think that favorable towards us. And then we get Southern again. So the 3 teams that we face in the West would be Grambling, Southern, and Pine Bluff. Um, we the 4 out of conference games, the 2 that are officially confirmed,
Mm-hmm.
as you mentioned, University of Miami, and we get to go up to Orangeburg to play our old friend South
Yeah, I
Carolina
love.
State, which is
Yeah, I love
always
that.
my favorite. That's my favorite game every year. Apart from the classic, or sometimes including the classic, on the
Yeah.
field, South Carolina State. Now, there's the 2 unofficial out of conference games. And so I wouldn't bet grandma's sofa on this,
Yeah.
but I'll bet a box of Krispy Kreme who those 2 are. And so right now the rumors are it's pretty strong. I strongly believe that the other 2 out of conference games will be Edward Waters and FIU. We'll get to see our old friend Willie Simmons again. So the 4 out of conference games: FIU, Miami, South Carolina State, Edward
Hmm.
Waters.
I like that. I like going to see FIU down in down south. That'll be a nice one, and then to kind of see what Willie Simmons doing there. And Edward Waters, that's the old foe too. I remember we used to play them at the Gateway Classic up in Jacksonville every year. Them in like
Sir,
Savannah State. I feel like we used to open up with them. Those were in better times, I guess. Um, well, that's cool. I had I didn't. I guess I could have put the schedule together like that, but I was just trying to figure out which games, if there are any big matchups to kind of keep an eye on. I did see, and this is kind of like not super important now, but I saw it in 2026, maybe it's 2028. We got both UCF and USF, which to me is like crazy. What do you think about the money games?
I hate them. I
Hmm.
hate the money games. Now, I'm not trying to fund an athletic department, but I hate them. And then if you are going to play them, if you go and look at our future opponents, the ones that are scheduled, you'll see a bunch of the Florida teams. We got a matchup with the University of Florida, which was supposed to be this year, got pushed off into the future.
Mm.
You're right. We got USF and UCF in some years coming up. I, to me, if you're going to play those games, I much rather go and play the Louisiana Monroes or teams of that caliber where it doesn't take as much out of you physically.
Yeah.
And so that's always the thing when you're playing against the University of Miami. It just beats you up physically. It takes something out of you. Not
Yeah.
FIU. Your teams can compete with the FIU physically. Rather you win or lose the game, it's not that same strain on the body, and that recovery time doesn't come back and bite you as much as when you play UCF and you're
Miami, yeah.
playing FSU and Miami, and those are the games where you wind up losing twice.
Yeah. And we lost. I remember a couple years ago we lost QB.
Luke
Um
Luke
Luke.
Sprague.
Yeah, we lost him in that game when he was actually playing all right, and it's like, great. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't like the money games myself. I know they have turned into a bit of a necessary evil, specifically for Bethune-Cookman because of our unique situation right now. But I would love if we got back to a place where we didn't have to play those games because there was a time we didn't play them,
Right.
and we had our few openers against teams we knew we were going to beat. That helped. Those serve like preseason games. So it's like now we've got like you got to come out of the gate, and you can't treat a UF or a FSU like a tune-up game. Like you can't do that. So you lose a week of playing a team
Well, just
they're
think
gonna.
about last year. Last year, the first three games we played were against USF. You weren't going to win that game. We took the money. We came back and played Mercer, who was a playoff team that made it to the semifinals or
Hmm.
maybe quarterfinals.
Yeah,
Playoff game, but they're at your level, so you play that game. And then we went on the road and played Central Michigan or Western Michigan.
yeah, Western Michigan.
I
Yeah,
mean, your season, you're 0-3 from a team that has been struggling over the past several years.
yeah,
Whatever goodwill that you had coming into the season, you just sucked it all away. And
yeah,
so you wonder how you get up on a team like Clark Atlanta and you're up, score 28 points in the first quarter, where you're still trying to figure yourself out. So sometimes again, the money games are necessary evil, but how you schedule them, where you place them, what they do to your program. We just need to get some positive vibes and some good things going and win a few games, and then
yeah,
you take it. But you just don't want to. You hate starting the year that way because it just just kills your
yeah,
season.
yeah. And like I said, I don't know. Like obviously, back in 2010 when Jenkins was the guy and the team was actually a lot better, those games didn't feel like such a drag on the program. Like they didn't feel. I mean, we like they were bad. Like we were still getting like mollywopped, but it felt like we competed that one year with Miami. I think we were. I feel like we were just like down a couple scores at half. So like when you can do that in a game against
Yeah,
then it's like okay, then the money, then you win twice. As opposed to
right,
losing twice.
right.
So it's like, all right, now we've got I hate to say this, one of the worst football programs in, you know, FCS, and we're still playing big monsters, man. And it ain't like this Miami back when we was playing them back in 2010. This is a better program.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope we can figure out a way to either maybe only do like one of those games a year, or just reduce the competition and play like the Western Michigans, or like you said, the
Yeah.
Louisiana Monroes or the FIUs, the FAUs, and where you can still collect a check, but you walk out good chance pretty healthy.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I saw, and I think uh I saw maybe Daryl maybe tweeted this or posted it, but it looks like they have addressed some of the concerns on the line, which I know was like we ain't had no weight on the line. We got beat up all year on the inside. So from what have they made gains on the line, or is this kind of still a wait to be seen?
Well. I mean, so we're through the first recruiting period. You got to think there's kind of three major recruiting periods now, right? You
Okay.
got the December, the traditional one that's coming up in a week from now in February, and then you're kind of post spring where you get all these transfers that come in. So the first thing, as far as the offensive line is concerned, is four of your five starters come back. So you like that. By the time we got to the end of last
Yeah.
year, we were starting three freshmen, along with two other upperclassmen. Well, all of those guys were eligible to come back. One left to FAU to go with DJ McCarthy. The
Mm.
other four are back. And then you get to supplement that. We got a big transfer coming in from Georgia State, last name McNeil. The guy's 6'8", 325 pounds.
Wow.
So we'll see. He's a big man. Now we get to see how good of a football player he is.
Yeah.
You get another guy who I believe was transferring in. I think he was at Jackson State last year. You get him coming in. We got some high school guys that were well thought of, and you say,
Yeah.
well, high school guys. Well, as I mentioned, we started three guys, three true freshmen last year. Towards the end of the year, and when
Hmm.
those true freshmen got in, the offense actually got better. So yeah, there right now there's already three. There's another kid from Sanford Seminole who was highly rated in high school, had a good high school career. He's coming in. Um, so I know there's four offensive linemen that are coming in that will all have a chance to compete at depth off the top. Then, a week from now, we'll see how many others get
Yeah.
added to that list. And so a little bit, I'm excited there. I'm excited about also the development of the line that you had coming back. It usually takes time to build an offensive line. Those guys
Yeah.
have to block together, and we run this zone blocking scheme, so everybody has to be in lockstep. So you would think that there'll be some improvement just because those guys are coming back, and then you have some competition to add with that, either beat some guys out or add some quality depth. So I think we'll be better there.
Yeah. The offense and even going back to the game against A&M, like what's the running back's name who was just started running all over the
Dennis
place?
Palmer.
Dennis
Dennis Palmer.
Palmer. Is he was a freshman?
True freshman.
Oh
True
my
freshman.
gosh. Ooh,
Yep.
listen.
True freshman. Yep.
That when you see that at the end of the year, like that's the stuff that holds you over in the off
Right.
season because it's like, okay, we've got something to look forward to because we haven't had that kind of a home run hitter outside of the return guy who hit a couple early in the season. I can't
Yeah.
think his
D's.
name. D
Darnell D's.
Darnell D's, yeah. But outside of him, like we really didn't have any other type of a home run hitter. Dennis Palmer is like, you know, big time home run hitter. So it was good to see that in that game, when it's the
Right.
best, kids don't sometimes they don't show up, but in the classic, he was like, yo, I'm here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you think about it, he didn't begin starting until midway through the season, and he still finished number three in the SWAC in rushing. He's second team all SWAC.
Yeah.
He went out and got so excited about it, he recruited one of his high school teammates to transfer,
Mm,
and so we'll get a little bit of extra depth at receiver. With a guy who, again, I think he has some potential to come and help us. In the classic, if you would like to project and think, if you look at that starting lineup from the classic, besides the tight end, you only lose two guys. You lose one of your linemen, as I mentioned,
hmm.
and then your starting tight end. He graduated. Other than that, the other nine guys are all back next year. And so, best case scenario, you start to say, if our offense can perform like they did against Florida A&M in that last game, then we have a chance to do something. And so, because that was the best game I thought they played all year,
Yeah.
again, you look around, you say nine of those 11 guys who started can be back for you, can contribute, and and we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. And so,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big that classic game, you kind of hate to see it because it's like now you gotta wait and you gotta wonder is this team gonna show up to start the season, but then back to the money games. It's like um you know when do we like how deep in the season do we get to see that team? Do we gotta wait 5 weeks, right? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
so Somebody said, oh, Henry Dunn said, maybe I missed it, but where are we with the OC? I'll leave that question to you.
um, I think we'll see a change there.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I just don't expect the change to come from the outside. I expect it to come from within. But I think you'll have a different play calling next year.
Okay.
That's my
Henry, does that answer suffice? There will likely, maybe, be a new play caller next season. Yeah, I mean, not to even harp on the play calling, but it just, yeah, we just didn't have it going on that side of the ball this year,
no.
and you know, I would hope because to me this year, Woody has had now one half season to recruit and then a full half I mean now a full season of recruiting and now a second full season. It's like, all right, brother, like
Listen,
it's time to get it done, you know.
we gave Coach Woody a lot of grace in year one. You
Yeah.
and I even called that first year as year zero
Yes. Yes.
because he came in so late. However, that coaching staff, they ran off a lot of guys too. I
Mm.
mean, they invited a lot of guys who didn't want to be there to leave. I'm saying that, which you need to do that. You need to have your guys. That it's no longer 1.5 years. This is fully his team.
Oh, it's
This
fully interesting.
is
I'm with you.
you have the guys that you want. You got the guys you hand select.
Yep.
You are choosing to Henry Dunn's point. You've had now this will be your you had to hire an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. You had to choose to bring them back for year two, and now you have year three. There's no more. These are the people that I mean. You're picking these people
Yeah.
and retaining these people. The guys on the field, these are the guys that you are picking and retaining and all of that. And so the idea is that I think with coach, he thinks that we're good enough where we are that we can take the next step with what we have in house. And so we're gonna see. And again, there's a comfort in that and feeling like, again, I like the idea of not having to guess what we're gonna do. There's also a risk in that because we ranked at the bottom. We were dead last in rushing. We were bottom three in third down conversion, in total offense, and scoring offense. We were in middle pack in passing offense. That's good. But then you look on the defensive side, we were also in the bottom three in
Yep.
total defense and scoring defense. So,
Yeah.
so you feel like, okay, I want to be confident. Like you said earlier, we were real close to winning a lot of those games. So let's just improve on what we have in house, take it to the next level. Maybe we get somewhere around 500. The
Yeah.
other side of that is the stats are saying that's quite a gamble. We'll see where it lands. And so I am not pessimistic.
That is fair. That is fair.
That's my that's my that's my answer. I don't.
That's fair. That's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the one and only Mr. Jerry Bell, who I gave him a ring to come join us and do a football check-in with us. This is something that I like to do over just during the off season. Listen, if you guys want to know where to get the scoop for football, especially during the year, the Hell Wildcats Gridiron Show, and it's Jerry normally pops in and Daryl and all those guys. Like, they do a wonderful job, and I am following like their format. This show is like a derivative of what they do, but just more on the like general news format. But check them out during the normally the football season. And let me say this, Jerry, I know this is y'all time slot. You can have it back in the fall. I'm gonna move my show because I want to watch the show on Thursday nights like everybody else. Tune in to you guys because I like talking football.
Yeah, man. No, you're doing a great job. And listen, the bottom line is and we work together, we talk, we collab. That's what we want to see across the university. This is not
Absolutely.
about us competing with one another. It's about us trying to come together, try to do what we all do. We all love football. We like our talking about our band. We like talking about what goes on campus. Those things don't have to compete with one another. It can be not either or, but both and. So
Right,
keep doing
right.
what you're doing. Here, I look forward to checking in with you and following you and seeing. what you're talking about too. So man, keep doing a
Yeah.
good job.
It's a lot going on, and it's a lot of things to juggle with this school. But we're prayerful. you know,
We're prayerful. We believe in that. We Miss Mary, one of the guys on the show that you talked about, Larry Wesley. I always talk about the spirit of Miss Bethune, and so I think her spirit is strong enough and with us enough.
yes,
There's a strong enough legacy that some kind of way we'll we got enough prayers out there that we're gonna pull it all together and make this thing work.
I agree. Thank you, man. I'm gonna let you go. It's been real.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Appreciate you.
That was my man, Mr. Jerry Bell. Thank y'all. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and close this thing out. And as you guys can see, I've been having all kind of issues tonight with my setup, but it's all good. Um, Let me see if I can fix this. Trav, what's up, bro? We need to get you back here, man. Why y'all out there, man? And do we have any questions or any comments or anything um you guys want to add? So let's see. There we go. All right. Mama Todd asked about, let's see, when is the 2025 schedule going to be released officially? I don't know. But uh Jerry Bell just basically put the schedule together kind of in a makeshift kind of way. Uh I imagine we could probably figure it out ourselves if we just kind of did the math on it. Which I may do. I may do. So yeah. Stay tuned. I'll see if we can kind of piece it together with what we have. But it has not been released yet. I just go on there's a website um where you can track the games that have been scheduled. You can track them online. And so that's how I was able to see like Miami and South Carolina State. Jerry Bell says, let's see, is EWU on the Edward Waters? Yeah, Jerry Bell was saying that they may potentially be uh two remaining non-conference games, so that's possible. I don't know, I can't confirm it. I felt like our schedule came out pretty early last year, so I suspect it may drop within the next several weeks because I remember last year we got it like super early, so it's possible. Um, let's see. Listen, HBCU band talk. I think that's the rhyme, man. Listen, I appreciate it. Anytime y'all donate to the show, man. Again, it's helping me drive this thing, and I want to be better. I got a bunch of technology and stuff that I'm trying to use, but everything I have, I bought it with donations from the show. So I appreciate y'all. So tonight, I wasn't on my A game with my tech stuff, but I'm learning and I'm trying to get better. So I hope y'all forgive me. Uh, Outside of that, what other questions you guys got? What other questions? It can be about the board stuff. I'm pretty tuned into that, y'all. So if y'all have any questions regarding that, shoot and I'll answer it as best I can. If not, man, we shut this thing down. I'm gonna give y'all a couple more minutes and see what we can figure out. And as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in every week. We'll be back next week, and you know, we doing this thing, and I'm gonna try my best to make sure that you guys are up to date, because there's a lot of moving parts with this board stuff, and it is yeah, it's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening, that is happening. And I want you all to know before it's too late, right? Because what ends up happening is, and this is what happened with the dorm deal, stuff was being done behind the scenes that we didn't know about, and again, we didn't know about it until it had already happened. And so Um, I've got my ear to the ground more than I ever have. Um, and so I do that, and I text people, I call people, I got connections, I got a couple of, like, people I can talk to about things, and I'm more tuned in now because I realize that you all absolutely want to be in the know and want to be in the loop. And so I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I can do that. Is there a goal? I take it that you're talking about our contributions and stuff. There is no goal. There is no goal. At least not today. Um, every dollar we get, I have like 4 or 5 subscriptions that I'm paying for just to make this happen. I got a couple of switchers that I just bought. I do need a new camera. Um, like that type of stuff that I want to be able to, like, crowdsource or crowdfund would be great. But yeah, I don't have a goal, man. I'm just gonna use whatever is provided by you all and just dump it back into the show. And at some point, I love to hire some help, somebody to maybe produce the show. I don't think we're to that point yet, but I would love to have someone, all these buttons and things that I'm doing behind the scenes, to have somebody do that. Um, and that can probably be remote. But those are the things I'm looking to do in the future. I'd love to grow it to where I can get into an actual studio. And again, I can do it from up here in Atlanta. I don't have to be in Daytona to do the show. I have enough people and connections to do the show from up here and give you guys, a good time. So yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. I've talked to Jerry Bell, and we talked about Belvin Perry. Just so y'all know, again, Belvin Perry has um filed a complaint. So we're gonna keep following that and just kind of do our thing on that. And yeah, I think I'm out, y'all. I don't see no more questions. I don't see no more comments. I think we had another good one tonight. Again, I wasn't on my A game, but next week I will be. I promise you that. All right.